Hindi masarap. Masarap!
Tuwang-tuwa tayo sa videos ng mga mukbang challenge. Pati mga Pinoy celebrities nakiuso rin. Pero alam nyo ba, nagsimula pala ang mukbang bilang solusyon sa lungkot ng pagkain mag-isa. Kung bakit? Yan ang pag-uusapan ni Doc Ana kasama ang nutritionist at content creator na si Jo Sebastian. Ngayon sa Share Ko Lang.
Hello mga kapuso! Ako si Dr. Ana Tuazon, ang inyong kakwentuhan na psychologist sa Share Ko Lang. Nangyayari ba sa inyo minsan, kapag sobrang down tayo emotionally, doon tayo mas nagka-crave sa ating comfort food? Yung gusto nating kumain ng kumain to sawa. Kung bakit? Yan ang pag-uusapan natin kasama ang nutritionist at content creator na si Jo Sebastian. Hi Jo! Welcome to Share Ko Lang.
Hi Doc! Thank you po for having me. I'm very excited for this conversation.
So yung relationship natin with food is not just with eating it. The thing is, di ba parang we also love to watch food. That's a big industry now. I watch food on YouTube all the
Same.
time.
Yes.
But talagang I really enjoy it when people, watching food, and then I get hungry and then it makes me think, oh, parang gusto ko yata ng tonkatsu for dinner, mga ganyan. So, one offshoot of that is, for example, the mukbang, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Yung sort of binge eating videos, and it's so satisfying for so many to watch. At the same time, parang hindi naman siya parang one way, di ba? Parang that also changes our standards of what it means to enjoy eating. Kasi ito medyo merong enjoy eating by eating more. So, do you have any thoughts at all about this mukbang trend?
Well, the mukbang kasi trend started off as a way to not feel lonely when you eat. Kasi yun talaga siya.
So, the social aspect now.
Yeah. It was more of a broadcast you're eating kasi. And usually, before, people were just eating normal portions lang. Para lang may kasama kapag kumakain ka. Yung nanonood ka, kung may kasama kasi you don't feel lonely. Kaso nag-change na rin. Social media kasi syempre kailangan entertaining. Kailangan
shocking.
Yes. If hindi, parang ayoko na to panoorin. So that's when mukbangs became more of a food challenge. Na parang as eat all of this food, it becomes normalized na dapat ganyan yung mga mukbang. Kailangan sobrang dami. So I think it was really lang the shift of the trend that made it a little bit more of a negative thing. But it started off as a very helpful, positive thing for those who live alone, yung mga kailangan ng kasama pag kumain, that social aspect was there. Social media really just changes so many things, and it gets misconstrued. So it's important to remember that there are things for entertainment. Pagka pinapanood mo, hindi naman ibig sabihin ganyan rin sila kumain palagi. And you have to know when to understand what is for entertainment and what is also more of what you need or what you can apply to your life.
Now, there's another trend, maybe not so trendy now, but I remember, di ba, there was a time na yung mga tao, as in sa Philippines, no, they were taking pictures of people eating alone in a restaurant. Di ba? Parang medyo maraming layers yung trend na yun.
Shaming pa yun eh.
Oo, parang may shame. Parang kawawa naman si kuya. Ano kayong pinagdadaanan niya? Because I just remember that kasi nga, sabi mo nga, malaki actually ang social aspect ng eating. No? It's not just our relationship with food, but I guess our relationship with other people vis-a-vis food. Di ba sabi nga natin, ang I love you ng Pinoy ay kumain ka na ba?
Yes, or tara,
diba?
kain.
Oo, yun ang Tagalog ng I love you. Di ba? So, what do you think about that? Like, kasi ang mga Pinoy, very social eaters. We rarely do eat alone. Although actually, sa totoo lang, I enjoy eating by myself. I found, I discovered that. Pero it's not the norm.
Yes.
It's not the norm. Pag pupunta ako, for one, parang yung waitress na, one lang. Di ba?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, tell me a little bit more about, yun na nga, the social aspect and maybe yung solitude aspect. Kasi yun yung na-enjoy ko rin.
While eating alone can have its great benefits para matuto ka rin kung paano makinig sa cues mo. But also, it's important rin to know what you need in the moment. Pag kailangan mo ng medyo mapakinggan yung cues mo, maybe it's time to take a step back. But if you feel like you need a little bit more comfort and celebration, especially since for a long time, medyo isolated. Maraming na-isolate during the pandemic. Diba? Sometimes people are really just craving that connection. just be mindful as you hang out with your friends to still listen to your body as much as you can.
Now, nagtanong kami sa ating mga kapuso, no, about yung mga relationship nila with food. So, yung iba, tinanong namin kung kailan sila bumabaling sa kanilang comfort food. So, ang sabi ng isa nating kapuso, tuwing nalulungkot ako or stressed. Yung isa naman, kapag i-reward ko sarili ko for something I achieved. So, it's, di ba, common yan. I treat myself, di ba? Sabi mo nga, celebration, eating for celebration. And then, yung isa pa nating kapuso, kapag sobrang pagod na pagod ako, pagkain ang nagpapasaya sa akin. What is it about food that makes us so happy?
I think it's really the impact on your energy levels. Diba kasi once you fuel your body, you're literally giving your body energy pag kumain ka. So all of these things, I always tell my clients, it's not a bad reason to reach for food. Kung yun yung nagbibigay sa'yo ng happiness or nagbibigay sa'yo ng company, or if it's the one that makes you feel less stressed. Diba? There's always a reason and it's very valid. You just have to really understand kung kailan na siya nagiging only source of comfort, kung kailan natin ino-overdo, and when it's no longer helpful. Kasi nanonotice natin na minsan hindi na talaga siya nagiging helpful. Kaya sobrang importante rin, ma-diversify natin yung possible places to feel the relief that we need. For example, I usually really emotionally eat pag lonely ako. So, when I feel lonely, feeling ko kasi companion ko yung food. Parang, hello, kami lang, bonding kami dito. But I noticed what helped me most was to talk to somebody, to play a game online with a friend, o kaya mag-cards kami ng sisters ko. It really helped lessen that loneliness. So sometimes, mas effective rin yung ibang mga strategies. Kailangan lang natin malaman kung ano ba yun para may balance tayo with food and with, of course, the other coping mechanisms.
So malaki ang difference ng food makes me happy versus only food makes me happy. Kasi sabi mo nga yung emotional toolkit or the toolbox that we have, no? Parang if food is one of the many things that bring us joy, bring us comfort, then why not? Diba? Let food comfort us. Pero kung hindi ako kumain ngayon, hindi na ako magiging masaya. Diba? Parang teka. Medyo hold up. So parang dapat chill lang. Kung relationship to with food, dapat chill lang tayo, low maintenance, not jealous, not clingy, di ba? Hindi yung parang kailangan you and me food and no one else.
Yes. No, exactly.
So, tinanong din namin ang aming mga kapuso kung pagkain nga ba ang solusyon nila kapag stressed sila. So, sabi ng isang kapuso, you can never go wrong with food as long as you control what you eat. Sabi ng isa, all emotions for the food talaga ako. Yan. Happy, sad, all of it. Food ang solution. Yung isang kapuso, because stressed spelled backwards is desserts. Ayan, mga pro-food na kapuso natin. So, I think na-mention na natin to, di ba? Parang, pwede naman siyang stress buster, pwede siyang soother, pwede siyang comfort. Sometimes yung comfort food, not because we're sad. Comfort food because, kunyari, nostalgia for me is another big reason. I enjoy food kasi para akong time, di ba? I can be a time traveler pag kumakain ako. It brings you back. Di ba?
Like, the perfect bowl of sinigang is just like, oh, perfect. There's a different layer of memories.
And then the different kinds. Diba? Oh, sinigang to ng nanay ko. Ay, naku, sinigang to ng lola ko, right? So it can even bring back, loved ones, etc. So, yung that kind of comfort is definitely food is it sounds like food is okay in that regard. Pero yun na nga, if it's the only source of comfort or kahit anong kinds of comfort that you need, sa food ka pa rin. So kung ang comfort na actually sinisik mo ay social company, diba? Food can only go so far. And then yung sinasabi mong secondary emotions, if you feel ashamed and guilt or you start to have body image issues and you judge yourself for that, mas less likely ka, diba, to seek company kasi mas nahihiya ka. So it actually sabotages, in a way, the thing that you're looking for.
Yeah. It becomes a cycle, essentially.
I wonder if, kasi also, diba, parang yung pagkain kasi sa Pinoy, parang napaka-ingrained sa ating cultural identity. Love language ng Pinoy yan eh. Diba? Yung pagkain, yung pag-aaruga, taking care of someone, yung the idea ng hospitality. Diba? Parang never-ending food. Salubong food. So para sa atin, diba parang yun yung simbolo ng generosity natin. So actually, kung mag-no ka doon, diba? Oh, no thank you, I'm full. Hala, ungrateful ka ba? Hindi mo ba na-appreciate yung linuto, yung binigay, yung linuto para sa'yo? So I wonder that's why sa atin, mas norm talaga, no? Mas acceptable and somewhat of a pressure na talagang kainin mo as much as you like. Kasi yun din ang pag-express natin na na-appreciate natin sila.
Yeah, that's also why scarcity mindset is such a big thing for a lot of Filipinos kasi takot talaga tayo maubusan. Kaya palagi rin tayo nakahanda ng sobrang dami na palaging leftovers, palaging give to everyone, may take home palagi, diba? Kasi meron rin talaga tayong scarcity mindset. And yung scarcity mindset na yun, nagli-lead din into eating as much as you can because you're afraid that you're going to run out or you're afraid na magiging rude or bad impression. So, part rin talaga siya ng, like you mentioned, it's really culturally ingrained in many, many different ways for us. That's why kailangan natin maintindihan rin what role that plays so that we can address it.
What are the many, many reasons that people, that determine how that determine people's way of eating?
How do we learn more about our relationship with food? And yung una namin ginagawa is to dissect first ano yung nag-impact sa relationship mo with food from all of those different things. Diba? From childhood, grade school, even yesterday, ano yung mga nangyari that impact your food choices today. And usually, nade-divide natin yun into 4 types of hunger. So number 1 is physical hunger. So yan yung literal need mo for food where if you were a car, low gas ka na, kailangan mo na talaga na refuel. Number 2 is your mouth taste hunger. So this is your cravings. Yung, gusto ko ng something crunchy, gusto ko ng something salty, something sweet. It's still very valid, but at least you understand na it's mostly a mouth taste thing rather than a physical thing. You have practical hunger. This is where you don't feel hungry, pero alam mong kailangan mong kumain kasi magugutom ka mamaya. Or, alam mong hindi mo nararamdaman yung cues mo, not yet, and you have to regulate that. And then, number 4 is your emotional hunger, which is usually yung attempt natin to address something through food. Something that may or may not be addressed through food. And yung reason kung bakit importante malaman to is because iba rin yung approach for each type of hunger. For physical hunger, you will of course eat something that is physically satisfying. For mouth taste hunger, you would eat something that would satisfy that, if it's sweet or salty. For practical hunger, then of course we have to work on our meal timing. And then for emotional hunger, it's creating your emotional toolbox. It's understanding why you reach for food, but also when you should reach for food and when you should reach for something else para magkaroon ng balance.
So, actually, my question is it possible to have an emotional reason to eat? Na okay. It's okay. Parang okay because parang you need to emotionally address something. So I reach out for food. Is that ever okay?
I think it is fine. It's perfectly okay. But you have to recognize when it's too much. Yung food na lang palagi yung pinupuntahan mo at wala ka ng ibang outlets to help you cope with your stress or whatever you're feeling. But also 2, you have to understand if you're using it just to numb yourself. So you never feel what you're... So if stressed ka tapos kumakain ka lang para hindi ka na ma-stress, pero nandun pa rin yung main stressor mo, it still keeps coming back and you don't address it, then that's when you have to be like, teka lang, baka kailangan natin muna i-address yung main reason why we're stressed rather than just turning to food. And usually we also experience a second level of emotional eating, which is guilt for reaching for food. Yung stressed ka,
They feel bad. They feel ashamed of themselves sometimes. Yes.
And it adds this extra layer of, oh, well, I'm such a bad person for reaching for food when I'm stressed. Now I'm even more stressed. So nagiging like a secondary level of emotional eating, which is, you have to remember, it's okay to reach for food. Like, it's fine. If it gives you what you need, go for it. But also make sure you have space to address what is causing all of this emotions, and that you also diversify your coping mechanisms as well para effective pa rin yung food, and we also are able to know when it's becoming a little bit of a negative relationship na.
So, meron bang guidelines for using food to manage your emotions in a way that, doesn't get us into trouble?
It's not a clear set because everyone is still different in the way that they address certain things. But the first thing also I usually focus on is addressing muna your main hunger. Kasi minsan, yung emotional hunger mo is actually physical hunger na super intense. So pagka sobrang gutom na gutom ka na, it feels emotional. And a lot of my clients actually experience that more. Even me. Dati akala ko emotional eater ako, palagi na ako kumakain pag stressed ako. Tapos Yes. Realize ko, hindi pala ako kumakain. Parang nagsiskip pala ako ng breakfast. Pagka may snack, hindi ako kumakain nun. So, or pagkakain ako, sobrang konti lang para lang makamove on lang ako. And then I realized, sobrang gutom ko pala. Kaya ako kumakain. And then it feels emotional kasi gutom na ako. So the first thing is to get that layer out of the way. First, make sure you are physically fed. And then now you can better understand your emotions para mas ma-pinpoint natin sila better. Like, what is the best way for you to address sadness, for you to address fear or anger? Maybe it's not actually food. Pero malalaman lang natin yan pag sure na tayo na address natin yung physical hunger natin.
So, yung isa nating last kapuso, na nag-share, sabi niya, coping mechanism din kasi ng ibang tao ang pagkain laban sa stress. Na sa halip magalit o mag-tantrum sila, sa pagkain na lang nila tinutuon. So, meron bang ganon? I mean, I guess we can talk as psychologist and nutritionist na parang meron bang hierarchy na parang okay, in the scheme of things,
no,
it's not so bad.
I actually see that a lot with my clients where it's like, I always emotionally eat. Well, it's better than harming yourself through other things, diba? It's better than abusing alcohol as well. So sometimes it is the lesser evil in a sense because, syempre, there's a lot of things that are way worse than food in the grand scheme of things when it comes to coping with our emotions. But then it always comes back to recognizing when it's too much. Because anything can always be too much. And if we put it in that hierarchy, even if it is in that hierarchy, in the excess of it all, it can still be very, very bad. So like we mentioned, yes, of course, food can be one of the lesser evils in terms of emotionally coping with your stress. But it can still be a very negative thing kapag na-overdo natin siya. And I know it's hard to hear kasi parang gusto ko lang talaga ng sagot na parang ma-apply ko directly, but it's hard when you're dealing with emotions. It's never one size fits all. It's never just do this, just do that. It's really recognizing how you yourself can understand what you need and the tools you need to help you push back. And that's why one of my favorite things to teach is curiosity rather than judgment. Kapag sobrang dami mong kinain today, kesa sa, oh my God, ano ba yan, hina mo, palagi ka na lang ganyan, wala kang control. What if we ask, bakit ang dami ko na namang kinain, hindi ako makapigil? Baka hindi ako kumain today, baka distracted ako kumain, baka extra level lang talaga ng stress ko today, nag-build up and I really just needed a release and okay, I will just be more mindful of that next time. So, pagka may curiosity ka, may solution ka din. Kumain ako ng sobrang dami kasi hindi ako kumain today. I'll make sure to eat throughout the day para hindi mag-build up yung hunger. Or sobrang dami kong kinain kasi wala akong kinain na gulay kaya hindi ako na-satisfy. Okay, I'll try to add more veggies. So yun yung main approach ko when it comes to food. Be curious para may solutions ka. Kasi kung judgmental ka lang sa sarili mo, hanggang dun ka na lang. And then it will be a cycle again.
Yeah, and the reality is, even though ako mismo yung nagtatanong sa'yo ng, give us something concrete. Kasi even if, di ba, they're begging for you to tell them what to eat,
yes,
how to eat, and when to eat. Sa totoo lang, even if you actually give them an answer, hindi naman nila masusundin di ba? Kasi kung ganun lang kadala, then we would all be sticking to our diets.
Exactly.
We would all be disciplined. So even if there is an answer to that, that's not the real answer for them. Kasi nga, sabi mo nga, At the end of the day, ikaw ang makakaintindi anong relationship mo sa food. Are you enemies? Are you lovers? Are you somewhere in between?
It's complicated.
Okay, nako, thanks again, Jo. So, yun naintindihan ko talaga, parang it's not just about food. It's that relationship, which is just like any relationship, no? The relationship we have with others, with ourselves. Kailangan maintindihan natin ang sarili natin, maintindihan natin ano yung silbi ng food para sa atin. And sabi mo nga, that kindness, no? And that curiosity. And, wag natin i-judge ang sarili natin. Alamin din natin. Hindi yung porke wala na, di ba? Wag na i-judge. Parang, permission na yan. Di ba? To be reckless.
Yes.
So with all relationships, we need to take care of it and do it responsibly.
Thank you, Doc. Yes, thank you so much for this space to share this story. And I really love what you're doing po. So thank you so much.
Kung may gusto kayong pag-usapan, mag-iwan lang ng comment below or email us at sharekolang@gmanews.tv. We're also streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Thanks for tuning in.